Hey, Mr. Snyder here with a couple more examples for solving linear equations. Let's just jump straight up into them. All right, here we go. To start with, I got a decimal problem for you. So I got 0.12x plus 0.05 times 5,000 minus x equals 460. Okay, so we're going to try to see if we can solve this fancy schmancy equation. Okay, when using decimals, remember they are still numbers, so you can go ahead and treat them like numbers. Okay, and especially if you have a handy dandy calculator next to you, this makes your job a lot easier. Okay, if you're looking to try to do this mental math style, I have a couple tips for you, but you can call me on over in class and I can help you out with those if you are interested. All right, so let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to simplify both sides. The right side simplified, left side isn't, so let's go ahead and simplify it. So I got 0.12x all by itself. Can't really do anything with it, but I can go ahead and distribute this 0.05 into the parentheses, okay? Now 0.05 times 5,000, I can go ahead and find that out by going onto my calculator and going 0.05 times 5,000. What do you know? It's a nice number. It's 250. It's plus 250. Okay. Now let's go ahead and distribute that 0.05 to the negative x. Now I'm just going to attach it, but because we're multiplying it with a negative x, that's going to change to the positive 0.05 to a negative 0.05x. Okay. Equals 460. Alrighty. Now, time to keep simplifying, so I'm going to combine these like terms. 0.12x with the negative 0.05. Now when I'm doing this mental math style, I try to think of just them as whole numbers, like for example, what's 12 minus just normal 5? And then from there, I just go ahead and rewrite that answer with a decimal place on where it should be. Now if you're not comfortable with that, you can go ahead and use the calculator, all right? So we got 0.12 minus 0.05, and that's going to give me 0.07 as that answer. So I got 0.07x plus 250 equals 460. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 250 from both sides, and after I do that, I should be able to solve. So I got 0.07x 460 minus 250 is just going to give me 210. Okay, you can check that on your calculator if you don't believe me. And then I got 200 and I don't know why I can't say that today. 210, and I'm going to divide each side by 0.07 because again, remember decimals are just like numbers, so we can go ahead and treat them like numbers. Let's go ahead and see what that answer is. All right, so we got 210. We're going to divide it by 0.07, and what I got was 3,000. Alrighty, x equals 3,000 is my answer, and I am done. Awesome. Let's go on to one more example before we're done for the day, okay? All right, so here's the next problem. We got 7 plus 5, and boom, just made it a fraction. Haha. All right, equals 2 plus, I got 3n plus 15, and I'm going to put that all over 10, okay? Now, just like last time when you're doing fractions involving, or linear equations involving fractions, you're going to want to get a common multiple so that you can just get rid of those denominators, okay? Now looking at 8 and 10, because those are my two denominators, the common multiple between 8 and 10 is 40. I already did the math. You can check it if you'd like, okay? So what I'm going to do to get rid of these denominators is, like before, multiply every single term by that number, okay? 40, all right? So here's how I can show my work. I'm going to take this fraction right here, multiply it by 40, and I'm going to take all of this and multiply it by 40, meaning that every single term within that is, the 40 is going to be distributed to, so the 2 will eventually get multiplied by 40 as well, okay? So starting with this. Now, I could go ahead and multiply everything by 40, but before I do, what I want you to think about is the way fractions work and the way canceling works, okay? This 40 will be distributed to each of these numbers, okay? But what I urge you to do before you go ahead and distribute this 40 times the 7n and the 40 times the 5, try to kind of make that number smaller. And what's cool is by multiplying by a common multiple, you will always be guaranteed that this number that you're multiplying will be divisible by the number in the denominator. Meaning 40 divided by 8 gives me a nice number. If you go ahead and do that division problem first, you can get rid of the fraction plus have a smaller number to multiply 7n and 5 with. Okay, so take the 40 and divide it by the number underneath. Okay, so 40 divided by 8 is going to be 5. Okay, so 5 is actually the number that I'm going to multiply everything by in that parenthesis. Now, in the other one, this 40 needs to be multiplied by 2, okay? Unfortunately, there's nothing there for it to be divided by, like here with the 10. So I'm just going to just straight multiply 40 times 2, which is going to give me 80, okay? Next, I'm going to multiply 40 into this junk thing right here, okay? But before I do, like I did before, I noticed that there's a 10 there, and 40 is divisible by 10. If I divide 40 out front, divide by 10 first, that'll give me a smaller number to multiply into the 3n plus 15, okay? So 40 divided by 10 is going to give us 4. So 4 is the number that should be multiplied into the 3n plus 15, okay? Now this problem is a lot more workable. Let's go ahead and finish it, okay? So 5 times 7n is going to be 35n. 5 times 5 is going to give me a positive 25, okay? This is going to equal 80 plus, we got 4 times 3n, which is 12n, and we got 4 times 15, if my math is correct, should be 60, okay? So let's simplify. On the left side, it's already simplified. On the right side, we can combine like terms, okay? So we got 35n plus 25 equals 80 plus 60, 80 plus 60. The quick way I do this mentally is just think what is 8 plus 6 and then just add a 0 after it. So that's going to be 14. And then I just add a 0 after that, okay? Plus 12n, okay? Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and move the variables to one side and move the numbers to the other, okay? I'm going to start with the variables. Okay, so subtract 12n and then subtract 12n from this side, okay? And notice I always put it underneath the other variable because it just makes my subtraction problem a little bit easier. So I got here 2 and then 3, so that's 23n plus 25 equals 140. Okay, now I got to subtract 25 from both sides. So let's go ahead and write what we have here. So I'm going to subtract 25, and I'm going to get 23n equals whatever 140 minus 25 is, okay? So quickly doing that in my head, I think it is 115, all right? Now, 23n equals 115. I can go ahead and write that. 115 divided by 23. And whatever that answer, that is what n equals. Okay, so let's go over to our calculator because I'm not very good with 23s. I don't know about you. So 115 divided by 23 is going to give us a whopping 5. All right, so n equals 5. Problem finished. All right. Hopefully that helped a little bit. If you have any more questions, again, call me over in class. See you next time. Bye.